just this, like, what did she say she was, 54 or something, like middle-aged lady. Looked a bit sort of lost. And I was in my day chair, so she was like apologizing about being in the way, and I was like, you're not in the way. And then we ended up just chatting with her about the meal deals, I think it started with. And then she was like, I bought a Trip, which is like the fizzy drink with like CBD in it, because I find it quite relaxing. And then she was like, what's that about? I was like, it makes you very relaxed, Doris. And we just went into this long conversation about all wonders of things, and I could just tell how happy it was making her that another human being had acknowledged her that day. You know, she didn't strike me as the kind of lady who's in a marriage. Maybe she lives on her own. I'm making assumptions here, obviously, but it's nice to just affect the world positively, isn't it? Especially if someone's appreciating it and is reciprocal of it. And yeah, me and you had a joke and a laugh about it, but the reality is that might be the highlight of her day. And like, you know, people in the comments might take the piss out of me for going, like, bro's harassing old women in Sainsbury's, but like, if you're there, you'd feel the energy of how happy she was. And she was like, you know, there should be more young men like you guys, just being nice. You know, she said it's nice to be nice. I'm like, yes, it is. You know, yeah. I feel like from your perspective that I showed, like, that conversation showed you a different way of being with strangers.
Mm. Yeah, I can only do that if I say to myself that's what I'm going to do. But it just kind of like it was, you danced with it. It just came like naturally and freely. And the staff room one I really liked, because this.
Oh, with you on Monday? Yeah, the lady with the. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Joel goes in the uni staff room to heat his meal up in the microwave. One of the teachers comes in and says,
and is a bit confused initially, isn't she, of why there's two students in it.
And you ask what she's got for her lunch, and she says soup. And then the whole conversation switches when you say something about, I think you say, is that soup gripping your soul?
No, I said, so this is what happened, right? She comes in, she's like, you know, hello. And then I'm like, how's your day going? And she's like, all right, thanks. And she you? And I was like, yeah, good. And then I was like, what's on the menu today? Do you know what I mean? Kind of like a playful question. I've got this soup. I'm like, oh, soup's good for warming the soul. That was what I said. And she was like, then she laughed. And then she was like, okay, this kid can stick around.
And the energy of the room, like, from that one line, you could feel the change.
And that's what annoys me when people are cynical or skeptical about, like, spirituality. You know, is it real? And I'm like, well, everyone understands when someone goes, the energy in the room shifted. Even though we can't measure it with numbers, like, that's a real phenomena. You can feel the vibration or the energy in an interaction improve. You can feel it.
Yeah. It's kind of taking life too seriously. Like, why do you think people can't hear the music, or so can't tune into the frequency?
Ooh. Why can people not hear the music? I think maybe a good angle to take it from is to think about myself, and why are there some days where I don't hear the music? Because, you know, I'm not the guy you saw on Monday. That's me with my best mate coming to visit me on a pleasant day. You know, but I'm not like that every minute of every day. That's an ideal you strive for, but it's not a reality. I think the days where I just overthink too much, get anxious about things I can't control, get bad sleep, don't eat well, just generally functioning in my own brain feels more difficult for whatever reason. And then I lack that sense of freedom in my own mind. And yeah, I think the self consciousness and insecurity becomes too much to then be free. Because to have a conversation like that, to put yourself out there in a playful way, makes you liable to rejection. If that lady wasn't in the mood, or she'd had a shit day, when I said the soup warms your soul, she could have been like, oh, you know, just shut up, you knobhead. You know, that you're out there vulnerable to someone doing that. It's a risk, you know. So I think a lot of people are just very caught up in their own fears and anxieties.
Yeah, it's probably is an overthinking of, maybe they want to do it, or they want to do something, or you want to do something, but you overthink it, and therefore it's too hard. or you don't think to be playful anyway in the first place, and you haven't been exposed to the frequency before.